Listen to Mark Carney's news conference in London, though. This is absolutely, shall I say, shocking. This man is so thin-skinned, he doesn't want to respond to reporters with those impertinent questions. And I'll comment about this. It's very significant. This tells you all you want to know about Mark Carney.
Thank you for coming.
You've seen the economic forecasts. They're not great. Are you certain that Canada can avoid a recession? And are you reopening trade negotiations with the UK?
There's a lot in that question. First off, look, this trade uncertainty, the actual tariffs, but then also the uncertainty around what other trade actions could be taken by the world's largest economy are having an impact. They're having an impact on the United States itself. That impact on the United States will continue to grow. The impact of weakening U.S. economy has an impact on everyone else. But of course it has a direct impact as well on the affected countries. It's not welcome. What we see is a number of things, a number of measures that we can take ourselves. We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We don't pretend to control policies of other countries. What we can control is our own domestic economic policy. There's many opportunities in Canada. It's a very strong economy, but it could be much stronger. We could have one Canadian economy instead of 13. We can build the millions of houses that Canadians need.
How are we going to build millions of houses with liberal regulations and taxes in place, Mark Carney? This guy can speak for minutes at a time without saying anything. He's mastered that dubious art or talent of saying nothing. And it's quite astounding. Let's listen to a bit more.
We can diversify our trading relationships, we can build new trading corridors, and we can fully realize what Canada is, which is an energy superpower in both clean and conventional energy, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to get stronger, while those who take trade actions get weaker.
Next question. Welcome back, Lise Doucette of
Come
BC.
Home. Come home.
Canadian,
yes.
Brunswicker. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. You came on this first foreign trip making it clear that you needed public support for Canada as it faces not just a trade war. You say you were enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. That was your word today. Enthusiastic support as Canada faces not.
I've never seen such hostile media towards a liberal. This is incredible. This is a loaded question. And this female journalist is obviously very angry with the non-answers Mark Carney is providing everybody right now.
It's a trade war, but threats to its sovereignty. You didn't get that in London. You didn't even get a press conference next to Sir Keir Starmer. Do you regret that? And if you can't take that back to Canada, tell us what is the top thing you achieved in the last 24 hours that you can go back to Canada and that you can say they have our back.
Great to see you, Lise. I'll say a couple of things. As I said when I was sworn in, which was just Friday, so you don't have to go far back in the BBC archives to find the clip. As I said then, we don't need another country to validate our sovereignty. We are sovereign. We don't need praise from another country. We are proud in and of ourselves. I would point out that...
I would point out he went to London, got nothing. He got absolutely nothing except a photo op with Herr Keir Starmer, one of the most unpopular leaders in the world.
The Prime Minister made a point of referring to our sovereignty, made a point of referring to our shared sovereign in King Charles III. So if you're looking for some evidence to your question, you have both my statement of Friday and you have that of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Look, this 36 hours, and that is what it is effectively, away from Canada, the focus is on security, deepening security partnerships with France, with the United Kingdom. Those discussions are necessarily sensitive. They're revealed in the full course of time. I'm encouraged by the progress that's been made. Secondly, advancing the support for Ukraine is very necessary. You may have seen that I've invited President Zelensky to the G7. I look
All right. As I predicted, he went to Europe to interfere in the peace process. He went to guarantee that Canada will continue to pour billions into the black hole of Kiev. And he invited Zelensky, corrupt clown Zelensky, to the G7. I don't even think Zelensky will be around in June, so I think he should probably not bother.
Forward to hosting him in Canada in June. There are a host of other measures that we are taking as part of the coalition willing to support that. And it also includes economic opportunities with respect to, for example, artificial intelligence, critical minerals, broadening out existing trade relationships that are functioning quite well. And I mean both CETA with respect to the provisional arrangements around CETA with respect to the European Union, where our trade has grown by more than 60%.
Did he just say critical minerals? What? Did he get an assurance from Zelensky? We have our own critical minerals. Why isn't he selling those to the U.S.?
And similarly with the UK FTA. So we're taking back a lot, but we're also taking back a deepening of our core partnerships, which is the objective. And we're 2/3 of the way through. And if you'd like to come to Iqaluit, you will see more. Thank you. My top priorities related to security, related to Ukraine, related to issues related that we will bring to the table in the G7, specifically in and around.
Shouldn't his top priority be the trade war with the United States and sitting down with Donald Trump? Shouldn't that be his top priority? Why is Ukraine one of his top priorities? He has absolutely no control over that process.
AI, critical metals and minerals, and the evolution of the commercial system. Thank you.
And he said it again.
Madam.
Mr. Carney, Stephanie Levitz with Globe and Mail. We understand that you have now placed your assets in a blind trust, so you don't know what's happening to them going forward, but you knew what they were going into that blind trust. So what are they?
Look, Stephanie, I follow the rules of the Ethics Commissioner.
Oh, touchy. Look, Stephanie, I'm not used to journalists speaking to me this way and demanding I talk about my personal fortune any more than I explain why I'm in pictures with Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't want to talk about that either. I can't wait for somebody in the mainstream media to bring that subject up at a Carney news conference. But of course, he just slides past this. Yeah, Brookfield Assets Management was sheltering potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in Bermuda, not paying any taxes. It was paying about 5% corporate tax in Canada.
I'm following them well in advance of any of the requirements, as you know, because I know you know this. You know that these requirements come into effect in months. We're talking days after I became Prime Minister. So I'm complying with the rules of the Ethics Commissioner, going through the processes and all these things that are necessary. And I will remind you, and I'll remind Canadians again, that the Leader of the Opposition cannot find it. And look, you look at the questions.
Now, what does this have to do with anything? Every time he's asked about his assets, he points his finger at Pierre Poilievre, who doesn't have a security clearance because he doesn't want to be in the government's pocket. What does that have? What does one have to do with the other? Of course, nothing at all. But this is a man adept at not saying anything.
This evening, you look at the nature of the discussions. Look at the nature of discussions I had with the President of France, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The Leader of the Opposition would not be capable of having those discussions because the Leader of Opposition refuses to get his security clearance, something that it took me a few weeks to get. And he has been the Leader of the Opposition for 3 years. So I comply with my responsibilities. I comply with the rules well in advance.
Must have had something to do with your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein if it took you 3 weeks.
The Leader of the Opposition doesn't take his responsibilities at a time of, well, you should take these responsibilities at any time, but it's particularly remarkable given the stakes in global geopolitics at the moment.
The rules say that those assets should be publicly disclosed within 120 days, which means you'll campaign in a coming federal election, most likely within the next 120 days, and are serving as Prime Minister now, with Canadians not being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought to avoid.
What possible conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance.
Ooh.
Point final.
Are you saying you are not open to any conflict of interest?
Yes.
Someone spent most of his life in the private sector.
Now he gets a question from Rosemary Barton, of course, who always is friendly to Liberal leaders. But I think he's remembering that interview he had, and she asked him about those 21 directorships. And he claimed they're all philanthropic, which was a flat out lie.
No possible conflict of interest in your assets. That's very difficult to believe.
Look inside yourself, Rosemary. I mean, you start from a prior of conflict and ill will. I have served in the private sector. I have stood up for Canada. I have left my roles in the private sector.
I'm sorry, look inside yourself, Rosemary? What is this, Father Mark Carney offering spiritual advice to the reporters? What is he talking about? There's ill will from the CBC?
At a time of crisis for our country, I'm complying with all the rules. Your line of questioning is trying to invent new rules. I'm complying with the rules that Parliament has laid out and the responsibilities of the Ethics Commissioner. And I will continue to comply with those rules.
Incredible performance. Said nothing. Absolutely nothing. And he's increasingly in conflict with the mainstream media. Interesting. Thank you for watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the KRAYDEN resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light and to you. Thanks for being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right resistance, and we'll see you again soon.
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need a political change, but we also need to resolve to resist